Jason Burke here with the Burke Realty Group. I've decided to launch a new series. It's called Keeping It Real in Real Estate. I decided I wanted to do this because I feel like lately I've spoken to a lot of people and they really don't understand the process, whether it is buying or selling. So I wanted to do this to be as clear and real and upfront about everything in the industry. I feel like there are a lot of agents that get a bad reputation, and I want to try to help clear some of that up and help people with understanding the process and knowing that when they do hire a realtor, that it'll be someone that's actually there for them and on their side. Why I got into real estate. So I was a teacher for 15 years, and early on in my teaching career, maybe year 5, I was living up in Northern Virginia with my wife, Amy, and we sold our condo. And it was the first time I had sold any property, and I saw the commissions that the real estate agents made. So at that point in time, I was trying to decide, do I go get my master's or should I try to do something else to help supplement? Because I think we all know teacher salaries aren't always the highest and most rewarding. So I always tried to have a separate job. You know, I was working as a fitness instructor, things like that, and it just wasn't fulfilling for me. So when we moved to Richmond in 2005, I decided to get my real estate license. It really was something that I did have passion for. So what was nice for me is I did real estate on the side 9 of my 15 years teaching. And honestly, at the beginning, it was a big roller coaster. I mean, it wasn't always easy, but the nice thing was that I did have money coming in from my teaching job. So it wasn't something that was making us too stressed at that point in time. I decided to go full-time in 2015 because at that point, my side job was doing better than my full-time job. So I felt like it was time to make that jump from the teaching world into real estate. And so since 2015, it's just been a great experience. I've helped so many people, and truthfully, that is the why of it. You know, I was a teacher for a reason. I enjoyed, I loved the students. It was always great. It was always great seeing them improve. And buying a home is probably one of the top, in my opinion, 3 things you'll do in your life, maybe top 5 for some people. So I feel like it is something that they should have somebody who cares as much as they do. So that's kind of why, the real estate's important to me, because I need to sell homes to make a living, as everybody would know. However, if I chase the happiness for you, that means that everything in my career is going to be better, and you're going to be happy knowing that somebody actually did care about you and what happened in your life as well. So at this point, I'm almost to 20 years in the business. It will be 20 years in June. So it's feels like another hurdle. And I don't feel old enough to be in something for 20 and 15 years, but the overlap helps a little bit. So what's interesting is now I'm helping some of my former students buy and sell homes, which that piece is kind of crazy to me as well. So as we do these Keeping It Real in Real Estate segments, I will have my wonderful marketing coordinator. She will be asking me questions, and these questions we are hoping are going to come from all of you. What questions do you have as you're listening to me? I will also be inviting some of my other friends, contacts in the industry, like my lender. I'll probably have him on in the next few episodes so he can explain, is it time to refinance or what 2026 is going to look like. And so through this time, you're going to get to understand my world as far as all the behind the scenes types of things. So when you hear a lovely voice come in at some point asking questions, that is my marketing coordinator, and she's going to go with her first question.
I indeed am. So what, Jason, makes a good realtor?
What makes a good realtor? That's a good question. I know this might piss a lot of my realtor friends off, but I think that I honestly think that integrity is one of the most important things. And when I say integrity, it's not just to your clients, it's to the other realtor, it's to the other buyer or seller. I think a transaction shouldn't just be one-sided, it should be the entire thing. Do I think making a lot of money makes you a good realtor? Not necessarily, because I know a lot of realtors that have these huge teams. They have their face and their name all over the billboards, but I try to call them and I can't get a hold of them. I have to talk to an assistant and 5 different realtors. And for me, that's just something that I don't believe in. So, I'm not quite sure if making a lot of money makes you a good realtor. I think being a good person, I think really caring about your clients, again, the integrity is very, very important. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say makes a good realtor.
Okay. Do you think you're a good realtor?
I mean, I'd like to think I'm a good realtor. I find that for me, the most important part is what my clients think at the end. So, my reviews are important, and a lot of times, I can't go in and fake a review. If you put a review on Zillow or any of the other, homes.com or anything, I can't go in there, type in your address, email address, and make that review. So at this point, I have a lot of good reviews. I have a lot of clients that continue to refer me out. And honestly, I do have a good friend. He says, Burke, why aren't you a $1 million producer? You have all that you need to do it. And truthfully, that was nothing I never really aspired to be that person, because when you're a teacher, you get 25 minutes to eat your lunch. You get, no time to go to the bathroom. So I think the life balance for me was always important. So I get to go to all my kids' sports. I get to spend time with my wife, go on vacations. I get to golf, which is something I love to do. And so I think there's a happy balance. And for me, making that millions of dollars was never my thing, and to each their own, and it's great. But I don't always, like I said, necessarily think that makes you a good realtor. You got to find your own balance, and that balance has to come at, can't come at the expense of your clients. So thank you for tuning in today. We'll probably do these every 2 weeks, and depending on how the questions come in, bump that up to every week. But please leave your comments. I mean, you don't have to talk about my hair or how pretty I am or anything like that. Let's just keep it strictly to real estate. And if you ever want to give me a call because you want to discuss more, I am here for that. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.